Stephanie Tatum Ford.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Cool. Can you love the thing you wished had never happened? Now, I grew up in Phoenix. I was raised up in a very strict Catholic upbringing. My mother believed in corporal punishment. And I went to Catholic grade school and also not high school. I went to regular high school. But my mother was so bizarre with her treatment of us, and me particularly. She had me at 8 years old, because I lied about something, put a sandwich board on me and walked around the neighborhood and said, "I am a liar." So shame and humiliation was her game to play, just like the nuns. And so that was really hard to take. She also put me in a closet, had me sit with bread and butter and water for a few days to think about my bad behavior. But anyway, I got older and my parents and me moved to Hawaii. And I attended a Catholic college there for a year. I had a great time. But it wasn't to be, and my parents wanted to move back to Arizona. But we didn't. We moved back to California. We moved to San Clemente, California. And I attended a community college at that time. And in that college, I met some people, good people, and I became a Mormon. And I was kicked out of the house for that. But I enjoyed my situation with the Mormon families and people I knew. I rented a room in a house, and I enjoyed it for a year. And then I left the Mormon church because I wanted to find me. I wanted to find out who I was. Well, I found out all right. It was in 78, 79, and I went wild. I drank and disco danced. Oh, yeah. And I smoked pot. And I slept around. Yes, I did. Then, at 23, I got pregnant. Uh-oh. I had reconnected with my parents. I told them about it, and they said, "Well, we'll help you if we can." I said, "Thank you." I had an apartment with 2 girlfriends. I was about 6 months along. I went in to get an ultrasound. The technician looked at it all and said, "Oh, 2 for the price of 1. I went, "Huh? You're having twins." I went, "I don't even want 1. Oh my gosh. Okay. I left there and I called my mother. I said, "Are you sitting down?" She said, "Yes." I said, "I'm having twins." She goes, "Oh my God, no wonder you're so big." She had a thing about me being fat. I don't know what that was, but she did have an issue with being fat. So I was really stressed. I worked at a bank and I went, "Oh my gosh, twins, what am I going to do?" 2 weeks later, my water broke. Okay, 6.5 months pregnant, my water broke. I went to the little hospital in San Clemente and they said, "No, your water didn't break. We're going to give you a shot and you're going to go home and relax because you can't have these babies. They're much too small." Okay, I went home. It was a Friday. I called my parents. They came over. My dad said, "Oh, I want to know the number of that guy that you've been seeing. I'm going to go over and talk to him." I said, "Okay, here it is." He went over. He came back. He went, He asked him why he didn't step it at the plate, and he said, "Well, how do I know they're mine?" I said, "Yeah, Dad, I'm sorry. We were 2 consenting adults. Thanks for trying." So then I went and had contractions. Started to begin. Went back to the hospital. They said, "We can't have you have these babies here. We're sending you in an ambulance to Orange County, an hour away, where St. Joseph's and Children's Hospital is right next door." Okay. Went up there Saturday. Spent the night. The next morning, I went in and had a C-section. Was numb from here down. Went in. First baby came out, crying. And they go, "It's a boy!" I'm like, okay, cool. Then they had some problems with the other baby coming out. And I didn't hear any crying. I heard, "It's a girl." They whisked her off. So they whisked both off. Ryan was born and Renee. My son was in the nursery at St. Joseph's, small, 3 pounds. My daughter had to go to the neonatal unit in Chalk Hospital. She was very small. She was 2.5 pounds. So My mother comes in the recovery room. She goes, wow, we have the jackpot. We have a girl and a boy. Okay, cool, thanks. Anyway, my son got a little bit bigger. They wanted him to be bigger before he can come home, and I had to live with my parents because I needed help. So I brought my son home first and stayed at my parents', and I got to hold him and nurse him, and, you know, it was wonderful. I felt a connection with him. I couldn't handle my daughter. She had to stay in the hospital for a month. Only thing I could do to go is put my hands through these little openings and go and kind of touch her that way. She looked like a little baby chicken. She was so cute. But she got bigger and better, and through a miracle, she was okay, and she got to come home too. So I came with both babies at home with my parents. My mother helped out, but she always grabbed my daughter, always nursed, because we had to feed them every 2 hours. And I couldn't nurse. It was just bottles. They were bottle fed. So my parents couldn't live there, though. It was 55 and over in this community, so we had to move. So we came back to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I lived with my parents. And that was not fun, let me tell you. My mother said, you have to give up everything for these kids. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know, okay, will do. So I went and worked at a bank downtown Phoenix, came home and took care of the babies. And I got tired of that. And the only thing I got to do was go to church on Sunday. And I met a guy there who was in the folk group. And I connected with him, and then we became boyfriend and girlfriend. And his parents, they were wonderful people. I wanted to move out. They helped me move out into my own apartment. So I moved out to my own apartment. I kind of lost contact with my parents for a while because I needed to get away from them. So here I am with the 2 kids in the apartment. It was just really horrible. It was just so hard for me. But I made do. I did what I could do. I took care of the kids. It was really hard. I pretty much grew up. But I also let go of the boyfriend. He was 3 years younger than me. He was like another baby, kind of. And he was a sweet guy, though. I'm still friends with him and his family. But my parents started associating with me again. And they saw how I was living and where how it was for me. So they came to me with an idea, and I thought about it. They said, you know, we can take Renee, you can keep Ryan, and then we'll still see each other, and we can hang out, and they can just be together that way. You'll get better on your feet. Maybe you'll marry somebody, and then we can have her come back, and you can have her back. And I thought, you know, that'll be good. But you have to sign parental rights over because we don't trust you. I said, okay. So I asked my dad, hey, Dad, you wouldn't take Renee away from me, would you? And then I would never see her again? He said, we'd never do that to you. Okay. So a few months go by, and I tried to get a hold of him, and I wanted to go see them. And I went over to the house, and it was empty. There's nobody there. I was like, where'd they go? So I didn't know what to think. So I worked for a law office then, and I asked an investigator to go check on it, and they found out that, yes, they had left the state. They weren't here. And that I didn't know where they would have went. So I just had to just deal with it. And I did. I didn't tell my son. I just didn't know how to say it. But 2 more years goes by, and I'm taking care of him. And my girlfriend, who I knew in college, had called me. She says, we're in Hawaii, and you should just come here and help me. I'm having twins. You know how to have twins. So why don't you come and help me out? And she knew the story about Renee, so she said, just do that. So I got the office manager to say, you know what? Don't worry. You go. I'll save your job if you need to come back. And where I lived, my girlfriend, who helped with the management, she says, we'll keep your apartment for you if you need to come back. Okay. I went off, took my son, went to Hawaii, lived with my girlfriend. And then I ended up moving out into my own apartment with another lady. And I got a call from my girlfriend who said, I saw your parents. They were in the Vaughn's shopping store in Carlsbad, California. I went, what? She goes, yeah. And I knew it was Renee, and I knew it was your parents' car because I saw it. And I went, she goes, and I followed them. And I followed them in the back, and they live in this townhouse behind the shopping center. I went, oh my gosh. And so what was I supposed to do with that information? I went, I don't have the money to go find her. I don't have the money to go see if I could even, and I don't have rights anyway. What do I do? And I had to let it go. And I told my son, and he was, I want to go find my sister. And I went, I don't know right now, honey. I don't know if that's possible. So I just bid my time. A couple more years goes by. And I met my husband, Scott, who I am married to now, and told him the story. And he helped me with my son. He was difficult, my son at the time, 9 years old. And my husband had a daughter from a previous marriage who came to live with us in the summer, and she was wonderful. She was 3 years younger than Ryan, and they got along really well. So that was great. Well, I was with him, and then the next year we got married, and he said, after we get married, we're going to go on a honeymoon of sorts, and we're going to go find your daughter. So we drove and flew into the Bay Area, got a rent-a-car, and drove all the way down to Carlsbad. And I went to the townhouse behind where I knew the girlfriend had told me. And I looked up at one of them, and there was a balcony, and there were these plastic tchotchke things up there. And I went, no other place like that. That's my mom's taste. Yeah, that's the place, all right. Well, the postman was delivering mail, and I said to him, sir, I know you can't tell me anything really. If you could just say yes or no, if there's a Tatum family that lives in the area. And he said, yes. I went, got my husband, myself, my son, and my stepdaughter, went to the door, knocked on it. My dad answered the door. He said, Stephanie? I said, Dad. We cried, we hugged, and it was hugging. And then I hear this voice, who is it, Lou? Who is it, Lou? And then my mother comes and says, Stephanie, how did you find us? Thank goodness for my father, because he helped me and the family come in and settled it down. My daughter wasn't home. Renee was not there. She was at rehearsal. My mother said, I'm going to call her and see if she wants to meet you. I don't know if she will. I said, okay. So we talked more, and then it was decided that yes, she would. So we met later at Burger King. We all drove to the Burger King parking lot. My husband, me, and Ryan and JJ got out, stood by the car. Here comes my daughter with my parents. She gets out of the car, and I went, oh my God, she's so beautiful. She looks just like I did at 10, long legs, blonde hair. I had dark hair. Her nose is just like Ryan's, and she was just a beautiful, beautiful child. But she was kind of close to my mom, hugging her, and I knew that she was probably going, who is this woman? Is she going to come to take me away? Anyway, no, it worked out. It worked out. We went back, we got to know each other a little bit, and then all of the years after, we connected. I'd write them, they'd write me. We went to see them. They came to see us in Hawaii, and we had a really good relationship. I took my time. I didn't push myself on her, and it worked out really well. My dad died. My mom went a little crazy. So I flew over to help my daughter put my mother in assisted living, and that was a wonderful thing to help her do that. And then my mom died, and then I went and co-signed for my daughter for school. She attended Juilliard and Manhattan School of Music. And I went to see an opera that she was in there and stayed a week with her there, got to know her really well. And we have connected through the years. And both my children, Ryan and Renee, during the pandemic, had my grandchildren, of course, a month apart, girl, boy. And we are connected now as a family, and they are coming here to stay with us at Christmas. And yes, you can love the thing you wished had never happened.
Wow, thank you, Stephanie, for revealing the tough circumstances that are often hidden behind harrowing choices that people have to make. Stephanie's answers to the 6 important questions. Her most useless talent. This is amazing. She can stop the hiccups by falsely burping. Maybe you could teach that. Her weirdest job, a lingerie model for businessmen's lunches in a restaurant in 1983. Stephanie. She hated onions as a child, but she likes them now. She would bring back lace-up Victorian heel boots. When Stephanie's feeling stressed, she pours a scrumptious glass of wine, if it's after 5 o'clock. If it's earlier, she chooses yoga or breathing exercises. She lives in Prescott with her husband Scott, her dog Penny Lane, and Dwayne. Oh, you had to do this, didn't you? Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho, her cat, Camacho for short. Okay, let's give Stephanie a hand. Gratitude, applause, everybody.